Welcome to the last update. We are changing the name of the show from Finished Game to Review to the last update. I wasn't quite happy with that, but I hope you all are enjoying the new episode, the new format. My podcasting skills are getting better, especially in the editing department. Hopefully, from here on out, we can have a nice stride and just keep pushing forward. Tonight, if you guys heard on Old Game Save, we talked about Resident Evil 4, the original, and tonight on the last update, we are doing Resident Evil 4 Remake. I am so excited to talk about this. I was so excited talking to Kevin and Blaster about Old Game Save, the original. It was so much fun. I can't wait. Tonight, I have a guest from the Trophy Talk podcast. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy to be here this evening. My name is Collin and I'm the host of the Trophy Talk podcast, as well as another show about survival horror games called Surviving the Horror. Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me, sir.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm so happy to have you on. I've been listening to you almost as long as I've been listening to Kevin, and I'm glad that you guys, as of this year, got a nice merger going.
Yeah, we did a little merger and acquisition, dude. We had a nice little time combining up. It's been fun.
Yeah, and I think you guys have been like killing it with your new format.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, because I imagine like doing like the Trophy Talk podcast every single week might have been a little bit daunting.
Yes. We originally started it as bi-weekly, and to be completely honest, you get to the point where if you're playing these longer games, you're going, I don't really have a whole lot new to say to add to what I already talked about on the previous episode. So I think monthly, it gives us time to like actually breathe with these titles, formulate opinions, more news comes in, more platinum submissions come in to shout out, stuff like that. So, and I just like that we can offer a diverse set of different shows for people that want to listen. So it's been really fun.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, I've been a fan. Even though I'm not a trophy hunter myself, I very much like hearing your guys' process and everything. And I expect the game because I have trophied or platinumed a few, but not many. I'd say like 16 all throughout my PlayStation trophy career. So
yeah, it's got its hooks in you, but not super deep, you know? It's for certain titles.
If I'm doing a platinum, it's because I think the platinum is fair, and I very much am in love with the game. And in fact, speaking of which, for next month, it's one of the few games I did platinum. I am going to try and review Marvel's Midnight Suns, another game that...
gosh.
I fell in love with this game. I can't wait to talk about it then. I'm kind of surprised at how much it just got flown under the radar. This is now what I might consider a hidden gem, despite it only being 2 or 3 years old, because so many people just surpassed it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games that suffered from just this constant stream of new releases, right? And when it came out, it just sort of got overlooked. And I know for me personally, it was one of those games that looked interesting. I can't remember if I was, something else came out or I was doing a backlog game, whatever, and I just kind of forgot about it. But I have had it recommended to me by a few people whose opinions I trust. So who knows? At some point, I maybe could get to it. It's definitely not my style of game that I normally play. I'm not too experienced with the tactics genre in general, but I'm open to it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to save all my thoughts for next month.
Yeah.
But for right now, let's get on to the main show.
Let's do it.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Let's get on to it. If you are new to the show, we are going to do just a quick brush up on a quick review, no spoilers. Nothing like that. And then I will let you guys know, hey, if you haven't played this game or you don't want anything spoiled for you, this is where we're going to let loose and kind of go, not beat by beat, but really our favorite parts of the sections of the game. And then the final review. And we will also talk about like the DLC, the what makes this game actually complete. Because that's part of the game. Part of the podcast is all games, they never come out finished. They're just still there are updates or DLC, and we want to review the final last product. And I think Capcom has safely put this away until they're ready to port it again.
Yeah, we'll get another remake in 20 years eventually. But for now, I agree. I think we've hit the final point for this game.
Yes. So, overall, this is a game that is, like we said, it's a remake. It's kind of hard to judge this game on its own. It being someone who very much fell in love with the first version of this game, I was a little like, oh, you're doing Resident Evil 4 already? I mean, you still got Code Veronica X to do, and you guys could still do 0. And then I wanted 4, but 4 remake came, and I'm actually really surprised at how much I've loved this remake.
Yeah.
It is a remake through and through. There are things that are similar. There are things that are different. The way things look and sound is way much of an upgrade. I would say it really hits you with a very eerie vibe right from the get-go. What were some of your first impressions of the game?
So it's important to shout out here that this is on the RE engine, right? Which is the same engine. And that, by the way, RE engine, common misconception, does not stand for the Resident Evil engine. Just so people are aware of that. Because you would probably associate it most with games like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. But things like Devil May Cry, for example, Devil May Cry 5 was on the RE engine as well. So this game, to me, like right off the bat, felt very much in keeping with RE2 Remake, with RE3 Remake. It kept a lot of the same look, feel, and sound as those games, but in this one, there was a noticeable step up, being that it was the first remake we had received from Capcom for the next generation consoles, right? So they've since gone back and done PS5 versions of 2 Remake, 3 Remake, 7, and Village, but when those games initially released, they were for PS4. And I think you can see the graphical upgrade here. You can also feel it just tactically how the game plays does offer you, I think, the biggest verb set of any Resident Evil game to date. So those are the things that jumped out to me right away. It's just the sort of next level and the step up in all those departments.
Yes, I would say the polish on this game is mostly well done. You'll find some jank here and there, but this game drips with atmosphere, especially at the beginning where they really want to surprise the people who are very intimate with this game. But I would say you do not need to play the original at all to have a good time. Now,
yeah, I would agree.
I would also say, who is this game for? Is this game more actiony, more scary? And I would say it's a mix of both. It definitely, if you have heard well, RE4 is just really an action game, that's true to a point, but they really make you feel like you're kind of in a very macabre, almost like 70s, Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel.
Mm-hmm.
The people that you deal with are in a weird, insane state, and you find out exactly why and what's going on. And it's kind of a pseudo sequel to Resident Evil 2 with Leon being the main character. And you hear a bit of what has happened to him between him escaping Raccoon City on his first day as a police officer to now.
Right. And I think it makes sense for them to, you mentioned like, hey, we don't have Code Veronica yet, we don't have Zero yet. I'm sure you know this already, but those have been, announced that those are going to be remakes we're getting in the future. I think Capcom was smart here, though, to capitalize on the success of RE2 Remake and Leon and Claire being big, characters in that game, and that game being a jumping in point for a new generation of people to experience Resident Evil. So I think going here to RE4, it does make sense. It's interesting because I'm coming at this from the perspective of RE4, the original, was one of my least favorite core Resident Evil titles. And that opinion has since changed, but I had that feeling for most of my life. And then coming to this game, I absolutely loved it. So it's just kind of funny how that works. And to your other point, I do have people in my life who are more casual gamers who are playing this game. They're not really huge on Resident Evil games, but they love it. And they have no context for the original, and they think it's a great time. So I think this is a good jumping in point for folks.
I remember, I wouldn't call it jumping in point, but I would say this is where I went full hog into like Resident Evil lore, because I tried the original remake for GameCube way back in the day, and I only got halfway through. And then I also saw way even further beyond that, a buddy of mine's like older brother just one-shotted RE2 on his own first try. Period.
Oh my gosh.
No deaths or anything. And we're just like, oh, that's so cool. And
yeah, that's crazy.
We tried to play it ourselves, and we're like, what the fuck's up with these controls?
It's so true. It's funny, man. So my first Resident Evil game was Remake for the GameCube. Like you, I probably only got about halfway through because that's a hard game as a kid, right? And we're talking days before the internet, folks. So there weren't all these guides that you could follow, or if they were there, you had to obtusely find them and download them over your, dial-up internet or whatever, right? So I never finished it either, but I also played RE0 for the GameCube, didn't finish it, and I played Code Veronica for the GameCube and didn't finish it. And then I got RE4, and I did finish it for the GameCube. So maybe that's something. This is a much more approachable game in some ways than those older Resident Evil titles, because it strips back a lot of the puzzle exploration aspects in favor of a turn towards action, which works for some people, maybe doesn't work for others. But hey, it's super influential at the very least.
It is extremely influential. A lot of games wanted the over-the-shoulder gunplay in a lot of their styles, and this was one of the first ones to really nail that field. And I'm talking about the original, of course.
Sure.
And now, one of the jokes, if you're unfamiliar with this, is back in the day, you could only just stop and shoot. Now you can keep moving and shoot. And people are like, oh, it's a game changer. But there's more changes than, I can walk around and shoot you than worrying about stopping. I would say one of the most jarring, and this is a minor spoiler, but the knife is way different than in the original.
Correct. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at with sort of the expanded verb set that you have in this game. It's not just that, and I won't get into it too much. We'll save it for the more spoilery discussion. But there are other things that you can do in this game in combination with and in concert with the knife that just feel like something we haven't seen before in Resident Evil.
Yes. For those who are very familiar with the game, what they do with the knife is it feels really unfair at first. But then you see what they're trying to do, and you're like, okay, I actually get this. This is kind of fun, or at least in my opinion. But if you hear it on paper, you would look at that and go, oh, that just sounds awful.
Right. It really comes down to execution, and it's executed well here.
That's pretty much agree. And what you kind of do is you're looking for someone, and you don't know all the details yet, but they're all kind of slowly, methodically given to you. And you're trying to figure out what is up with the locals that keep attacking you. And it goes through 3 major segments. And you kind of progress in a way that makes you feel more powerful, but the enemies themselves get more powerful along with you. And I would honestly say this game is way tougher than the original. Would you agree on that?
100%, even on normal mode. And so I've platinumed this game and 100%ed the original. The professional run on the original is a cakewalk compared to the professional run on the remake, especially if you're going to try to do something like that off the rip. It's really tough. Like, I died on normal, and I'm very practiced at Resident Evil games, so yeah, it's tough. The damage values are high. You're going to take a lot of damage. You're going to have to rely on your other available tools, including the knife and dodging and things like that, to really, really get through this game in an effective way.
Yeah, and there are bosses in here that are very different, in my opinion.
Correct.
Yes, one is extremely different, and you're like, wow, you were kind of a hard boss at in the original. Now you're just almost unfair, but there is a way to cheese that boss.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
And then the final boss is like the essence is the same, but it does a lot more. There's a lot more to deal with, and you can easily just get stomped. Where I would say with the original, the last boss was kind of a more than mediocre challenge at best, but not too easy. Whereas they really amped up the difficulty on how to deal with this guy.
They did
this remake.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are about to go into spoiler territory, but let's have a quick review. Like, on a scale of 8 out of 10, or yeah, 8 out of 10, or I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. But what would you give it? I don't know why I keep saying 8 out of 10.
Hey, it's all right. 8 out of 10 is a great score. So on I almost did the same thing. On a 1 to 10 scale, I'd probably hover somewhere around an 8.5. I think that the complaint that I had with the original still holds true in the remake, in that it's too long. It's the longest RE game by far. It's got some bloat, although less here than it does in the original. And that's really the only reason I can knock it, is that in some instances the pacing suffers as a result of them just trying to do so much. But as far as like just a video game, right, to pick up and play, it's fantastic. It's polished. It's well acted. Cutscenes are great. It plays really smooth. So it's hard to fault it in that way. As an RE fan, a massive RE fan, I think this game improves on the original in terms of the lore and things like that. But RE4 is very sparse in the lore and is also like so tangentially connected to the rest of the franchise that it's hard to get excited about some of the deeper tendrils there.
Yeah. One of the things that kind of cut it back for me, and goes on to the DLC part. The DLC is really fun, but it's a convoluted mess.
Yes.
The timeline, and we'll get into the spoilers of it, make no sense whatsoever. There are characters in there that make no sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And without the DLC, ironically, I'd probably give it a 9.5. And the parts that would make this just shy of like perfect is you kind of hit the nail on the head. This game is a little bloated, but I wouldn't say it's so much so that it's egregious. I mean, I just gave it a 9.5 without the DLC. But when they do try to add more, I think they knock themselves in the foot, and they don't exactly polish everything. They could have worked on a few things that just made me kind of scratch my head like, okay, these parts of the DLC are cool, but why did you do that? That is a huge blemish on like the final product.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just such a big Ada fan that I loved the DLC for that alone. And I think Lily Gao does a really awesome job. I believe that's her name, the voice actress. She does a really awesome job portraying Ada. It received a lot of criticism when the game launched, but I think as the Separate Ways DLC came out, people came around to the character a bit more. And anyway, I thought she was a standout in the game in general. So getting more of her was great. And, I agree, I guess, with the other points, though, that there are some things in the DLC that make you scratch your head and you're like, what are you guys doing here? But it was, it was fun. It added some extra content to the game, some more trophies, which I'm always a fan of. So overall, not too bad from that.
Yeah. And before we move on, you being surviving the horror guy, you and Josh,
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask you, is this game survival horror?
Is it survival horror? It is survival horror in my mind, but it is skirting the line very closely.
I
It's action horror, but it also has some things that I love about traditional survival horror in ammo management, health economy, save rooms with specific music tied to them. The standard pacing. It doesn't have, and we'll get into this. It doesn't have hub areas in the same way that you think about hub areas in traditional survival horror or Resident Evil. It's a much more linear affair, which is a lot more approachable, I think, for casual gamers or new people to the genre, but is a little bit out of step with what we expect from other survival horror games.
Yeah, I would describe this as you said this game was influential, or the original was.
Yeah,
I would say it changes the game of survival horror.
correct.
And you're absolutely right. It skirts the line like right there on the edge, but at the end of the day, it's survival horror. It's also just a different kind of survival horror. And one thing we'll really get into, there are moments of tension in here that are really good,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
with gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
There's one enemy that's nothing but tension and horror that
Right.
we'll talk about in the third segment of the game. Um, all right, so with that, let's move on to the spoiler section.
So tell me, Yankee, why did you come to this horrible place? As close to nowhere that I've ever seen.
Let's just say, looking for someone.
That someone must be very important, huh? The chief gave the orders himself. Help him, he said.
I'm sure your boys didn't come all the way out here to roast marshmallows. Maybe you did.
All right, so the gloves are off. You have been warned. We are just talking about all the mechanics, all the stories, all the characters that come in, some of the changes to from the original. Let's just get right into it. So we talked about how the beginning area just oozes atmosphere, but we didn't explain why. And that first part where you're out of the police officer's vehicle trying to find the first one that just got up and taken away. What did you think of that? Because I thought it was extremely well done. I thought they're like, oh, these are the graphical differences. It already makes you feel way more creeped out, especially once when you get into the cabin. And you that's basically what you do. You go look for one of these two guys that first started off with you. You find a cabin, but along the way, you're finding like weird animal carcasses. The path is very old, not being at all. You're barely making your way through, and like once when you're in the cabin, it is something straight out of a horror movie. The rooms are dark. The cabin is decrepit. There are old giant hunks of metal traps hanging all over the walls. Something's not right with the guy, and you have to attack him. And you got to go down into the basement to find the corpse of this man that was supposed to be on your side, already just dead.
So quickly. It really escalates very, very fast. I think that the beginning of the game, what jumps out to me about that cutscene and everything surrounding it, you see the density in the foliage like immediately. So if you think to the original, and I'm sorry about the comparisons, folks, it's going to happen just because it's a remake, right? The original game had this sepia tone, a really sparsely populated, autumnal forest look to it. Everything had that brownish, grayish color. And here you're seeing a much more vibrant like color scale, but you're also just seeing a thick woods everywhere around you. It feels a lot more isolating. and your visibility is a lot lower. So immediately you're kind of on edge, and they do some cool stuff, like you said, with lighting and with different things that you find around the house, kind of hinting at what's to come. I think they knock it out of the park, definitely in the beginning of the game. And the setup is cool too, right? You're going to find the president's daughter who's been kidnapped. You've got these 2 cops with you. It starts off feeling like it's going to be a buddy cop sort of scenario. They're cracking jokes at you, right? They're stopping to take a piss. They're having a cigarette. You're like, cool, we're going to roll into this together. And in an instant, it changes to, oh crap, I'm by myself now. And you find out very quickly, one of the guys is already dead. So they really throw you into the thick of it. It's a trial by fire in the beginning of this game for sure.
Oh, is it ever a trial by fire? Because as soon as you're done with that, you kind of snake your way up this hill area, and there's like a beaten car and everything. You take out some guys, and you're just like, why the fuck is everything acting so weird? And they also give you a weird surprise, literally with the first person you kill. Everyone who's played the game is expecting these things like their heads to pop off at some point, but the first guy you kill already acts weird, and he comes at you with a broken neck, and it's disturbing as all fuck.
Yeah, his head's like sideways, when he's coming after you. And that's a new enemy type for this game compared to the first game, where you had just sort of the traditional enemy, right? And the villager, and then you had obviously the ones that have their heads explode, like you mentioned. This in-between phase is something that is really only found here in the remake, and they do a good job having you combat these foes in fun ways, and also you have the ability to sort of stop them from turning into more advanced forms by using your knife, which is great. So it adds like another layer to the combat.
Yeah. It's crucial whenever you see someone squirming on the ground, like, I gotta get to him and stab him in the neck as fast as I can, otherwise this dude's about to be a problem real fucking quick.
Yep.
And then you make your way to the main area, and it starts off, it's almost a 1-to-1 recreation. There are a few minor differences, but you immediately like, oh, I kind of feel like I'm at home here.
Yeah, if you've played the original, it's going to fit like a glove. It's basically what you remember of the original, but in actuality, right? We all have these rose-tinted glasses of playing these older games, and look at like the surroundings and the environment. But when you go back and look at it, it's pretty sparse. There's not a whole lot going on. It's just more of like the bones of something. And here you see those bones really fleshed out. And, a lot more chickens. There's cows. There's a lot of hay. Basically everything you would expect to find in a village like this is there. And most of it's interactable, which is kind of cool as well.
Yeah. And they really don't shy away. You see one of the other policemen captured and get burned at the stake, and you're just like, wow, you guys are really just taking the gloves off here. Holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. And you're definitely alone now. That was your one other companion that you came here with.
Yeah. And of course, you play out the scene, and one thing I noticed is in the past, you could just do this thing without going into that one cabin and grabbing the shotgun. This time they're like, no, we're bringing you Dr. Hector, the chainsaw-wielding maniac, whether you like him or not.
Yeah, you pretty much are forced to interact with him, and you're really forced to grab that shotgun. You're going to want it. But I am curious, because there are a couple ways to get through this area. So there's 2 different things going on. There's a kill count that it's tracking, and then there's also a timer. And so there's 2 different ways to handle it. A lot of the speedrunning strats center around getting a bunch of enemies to clump up and then throwing like 2 grenades, and then the scene ends immediately. Or, again, you just have to survive for a certain set amount of time, and you can really evade the enemies and just keep running around the map.
Well, there's a third strat. Do you know about the third strat?
For New Game Plus? Yes.
Yeah, I don't even think it's for New Game Plus. I think you can do it automatically. It's just way harder to do.
Are we speaking about the church bell?
Yes.
Yeah, because normally I would do that with a sniper on New Game Plus, but I guess it is possible that you could hit it with the pistol. It's just probably really tough.
I think I saw a video when I first heard about this. Someone pulled it off with the pistol. And
very cool.
Oh, damn. And for those who don't know what we're talking about, the church bell will ring, and you just kind of heard a bit of it in the clip I just played. And when the church bell rings, everyone stops and very creepily just walks off stage, just forgets Leon. Like the bell calls to them. You can, from a very long distance, ring the bell, and it's just one of those. I love when devs think of that shit.
Yeah, exactly. The
in fact,
interactability, it's just really cool. If it makes sense to you that it would work, it does. It's awesome.
in fact, you said you platinumed the game, and I thought about it, but there you got to do a lot of playthroughs through this game in order to platinum, and you got to get good really fucking quick.
Yeah, I think it's 4 playthroughs, one of them including only using a handgun and knife. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is one of the pro strats on like through the speed run that you got to do through one of them, because you got to get an A rank, right?
Correct.
Or an S rank.
Well, you do have to get S rank, but the getting an A rank gets you an unlock token. This is getting really in the weeds, but basically, just so folks know, the unlock tokens basically allow you to get the max upgrade for a gun automatically at the shop when you go to the merchant. So you can start the game with one of these tokens and then basically the strat is just, giving a certain gun infinite ammo, and that'll help you a ton when you go through professional.
Oh yeah. So you make your way through the main cab, or the main the main square.
Yeah.
And it immediately changes things up a little bit, because the next area seems familiar, but it's also a bit different. You get a new enemy, which has a bull mask, and there's you get to actually explore the windmill that's actually in this area. It feels more like a connected village. That bull mask guy, again, is just one of those big surprises on like, oh wow, this is already another hard character from the get-go. You guys are being relentless, and this isn't like playing it on a harder difficulty. They'll throw these guys at you at at the starting normal difficulty.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're pretty brutal. They have massive heavy attacks. Some of the time they'll cyclone around a bit like a Beyblade, and they'll hit everything out of their way, including other Ganados that you're fighting, the villagers, right? So you can sometimes use them to your advantage even, but there's certainly a step up in difficulty. You have to be prepared. If you haven't managed your ammo economy very well, this can be tough.
Yeah. There is a cheap trick you can do. You can find a tripwire inside the windmill, and you can crawl under it and just let him come to you. He'll run into this tripwire bomb and just kill himself.
Yeah, that's the way to do it for sure.
Especially when you're brand new at the game.
Yeah. Although if you're brand new, you might run into the tripwire. You never know. I was happy to see, though, that they kept the blue medallions in this section intact. Sort of this mini quest side quest that was available in the original. It's here again in the remake. And there's a lot of touches like that where they keep some of the best parts of the original, but get rid of things that don't make sense. So an example being QTE events, right? You're not going to be spamming X to run away from a boulder in this version of the game, in the remake, like you would have in the original.
Yeah, QTEs are almost a thing of the past. They're one of the few elements people are like, I don't really miss those.
Yeah, I think if they're used sparingly, they can be cool, but there became an over-reliance on them in that Xbox 360 generation, I felt like.
Yeah, and RE4, the original, was a hot button contender for like, oh, check out this brand new mechanic in games we can make to make it seem more cinematic. And we were talking about this with Kevin and Blaster Goblin. There's only one real scene with the QTs we loved in the original, and the rest can kind of go to hell.
Yeah, I think I know which part you're speaking about too.
Yeah. And you move on. The next area seems really kind of familiar with people throwing dynamite at you. I always loved this bit because when you shoot your first piece of dynamite, especially if they're still holding it, it's extremely satisfying to watch everyone just blow up around you.
They turn into this like red mist almost. It's so funny. They like vaporize when they blow up. It's really cool. But this is another section, speaking about that trial by fire in the beginning of the game, these first 3 areas are very tough, and they force you really quickly to start to understand this parry mechanic available to you, the melee mechanics, and just use your mobility to your advantage. If you don't, you are going to get overwhelmed very quickly, because unlike other RE games where there's 1 or 2 zombies coming at you, you might have 10 enemies on screen at once. Or maybe not 10, but let's call it 5 to 8 at once coming after you. It's a big step up.
You'll definitely have 10 in that first, once when you're in the town square area.
Right.
But then they're more sparse, but they're also really kind of smart. And you parry unbelievable shit with your knife. You parry pitchforks, you parry a chainsaw, but the shit thing is your knife will break.
Yes, the degradation.
And this is the part everybody hates at first, when they're like, my knife is broken already? What the fuck?
Yeah, you kind of have to be smart with it. We already mentioned how you have to be looking out for those squirming ganados on the ground to keep them from transforming. So you go up to them and you stab them. Well, that's some degradation from your knife gone. You want to do a couple parries, more of it gone. And here you've not been yet introduced to the merchant and ways to fix that problem. So yeah, you kind of have to be, you have to ration it basically with that knife.
Yeah, and at the end of this section, you get that cutscene where you meet Luis. It's a little bit more of a creepier setting. They actually put him in a fucking body bag this time.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he's just squirming on the ground. You let him free, and he's like, hey, man, you got to smoke?
I mean, hey, I can't blame him. In that scenario, I'd be like, you know what? Give me a cigarette, dude. Like, this town sucks.
Yeah. You get captured. You meet the first main villain. This is where the redesigns are kind of cool, because it's very much the same guy, but it's the small details that make you go, you know what? I never really thought of him as a pastor in the original guy. But that hat changes everything.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And yeah, his redesign is cool. I love his beard and just his giant trench coat. He's just a very cool looking design, and it's evocative of the Mr. X like design as well from RE2 Remake. Another guy with a funny hat and a big coat. Very similar vibes going on here.
And they throw him in that scenario at you just a couple of times, not to the point where it overstays his welcome, but he will chase you and Ashley when you get later, to the point where you're like, I can't fight this guy. I need to run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they try to signal to you that like this is a section you should just run through, but you haven't really been doing that up to that point. So that's another one of those things where I'm like, this is an interesting change, but I don't know how effective it is. And the game could probably be fine to lose that section. And it's not long, but we're talking about bloat in a 15 to 20 hour game. I think there's room for like an hour or two to be cut out.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd rather have them cut out the giant fish than him, though.
Oh, sure.
I think he is much more menacing of a character. He's an actual character, whereas the fish is like, look, you'll have to do the same bullshit every single time, no matter what weapons you do, because we'll only give you the harpoon.
Yeah. It's one of the scarier fights on Professional, just because all of your upgrades don't really mean anything in that fight. You don't get to use any of your upgraded guns. You don't get to none of that stuff. It's just you and some harpoons going after it.
And that thing is a tank, and he can almost one-shot you. Yeah. I do not care for it's cool the first time. Beyond that, I don't care.
Yeah, it's an interesting spectacle battle, right? And it does provide a nice sense of scale, but it ultimately becomes really annoying in replays.
Yeah. But after you get captured, you and Luis escape. He kind of escapes from you before you figure out what's his deal. And they give him a little bit more lore, too. They're like, hey, there's something up with this guy. Well, what is it? And you find out more about him, which I really liked. Because it wasn't like a brand new, here's a whole other chapter about Luis. They're like, nah, he worked for Umbrella. Spoilers, but that's kind of it. and he just wants to do better.
Right, and it's done in a nice way. It doesn't break too much of the existing canon, but it also adds a little depth to him, right? And so you mentioned he works for Umbrella. He worked on the Nemesis program, which makes sense because Nemesis is a parasite, or is part of a parasite development team, and this is also Las Plagas is a parasite, not a virus. So there is some crossover there, which I think makes sense.
I didn't catch he worked on the Nemesis part. I just only saw like the pictures in his lab.
Yeah. It's just in one of the notes there, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't read every note bit by bit, so
yeah, for sure. I try to as much as I can, but obviously you're gonna miss. It's impossible to catch everything without a guide. You're gonna miss some stuff.
Yeah, and we already talked about him, the fish. The area after you meet Luis, though, you were talking about using the knives. Well, they force you to use the knives. They teach you on how to sneak up on people because they take your gear away and you got to get it. And there's like 4 or 5 goons you meet before you grab your gear, and then you finally meet the merchant, which will repair your knives. And we forgot to mention they give you other knives that will like be only used 2 or 3 times before they break permanently. There's no repairing them whatsoever. They're very disposable. They can take up your inventory space though, which is kind of a bummer. But they're also like, if your main knife is broken, we got you spares. They're just not nearly as good as your main one.
Yeah, exactly. So you can be strategic about when you want to use them. The whole section where they take your gear away at first could probably give people a lot of like, oh shit, not a game like this. Because I personally hate that when games do that. Partway through the game, you lose all your stuff and you got to just kind of get going again. But it's really serving as like you mentioned, a quick tutorial for the knife. Here's the things you can do with the knife if you haven't been messing with it yet, right? You can do stealth kills, you can parry, stuff like that. So it's a short enough section. It's not too bad, and on replays, it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, it really makes you on replays be like, how fast can you just blow through this section on skills alone? And then you get to the next more infamous section, the canyon area. And I had a lot of trouble with this in the original. This one, I found it more fun.
Yeah.
But I also had trouble with this area as well because they can explode the bridge and it can be in one-shot kill if you're on the damn bridge.
Oh, wow. I actually don't know if I ever had that happen to me. That's crazy.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, if they throw the dynamite on the bridge will explode and collapse. And if you're on it, you're fucked.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess my tactic has always been to sort of hole up near one of the smaller houses on the edge of the map. And then once I get, once most of the enemies are dead, then I'll start to work my way up towards the key items that you need to pick up and progress. But yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
I'd much rather have my areas kind of open so I know that unless if it comes from an area that I can funnel them down in one hallway or whatever, because it's really hard to find one spot where they won't blindside you, where you're like, oh, I'm stuck in this corner, but that's okay. They can't possibly get me from behind. You're like, wrong. Some dude just literally came up on your blind side and just whacked at you. Like,
yeah, they go through the roof.
Yeah.
There are ladders up to those roofs, so they're not as safe as you think. They can come through the windows, the doors. And the real trouble with this section is you combo all the close quarters combat with these enemies who stay afar and throw dynamite at you. So it's kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. In some ways, it really wants you to just kind of speed through it as much as you can, only killing the things that are directly in your way, and you can get through the section pretty quickly, but it's tough to do.
Yeah. We're going to speed past through some of the parts. I would say the most major next area is, we already talked about the fish. Well, they give you the boat to mess around with a little bit more. This is an area that's really bloated, in my opinion.
Yeah, not really necessary.
No, they give you, we talked about side missions. They give you a lot of side missions with this one. And you get really big upgrades, but this is like where the side missions really comes into play. It is mostly very optional. You need to get 2 things to get in the church. That is your main objective, but scattered out throughout the entire area, there are multiple paths, and it's kind of cool to explore this area. There's an opening cutscene where you see they just kidnapped some poor woman and they kind of decapitate her. And if you explore, you find out where this poor woman died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a really gruesome sight, actually. But then you got a golden chicken egg somewhere around here, too. And that's all fun and rainbows, especially if you know the trick with the golden egg.
Yeah, it is. I love it. I would make sure to go and pick it up just purely to speed up basically what you're talking about later on in the run, especially on harder difficulty. It helps a ton.
Oh, yeah. And there's 2 golden chicken eggs, too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't exactly remember where the second one is, to be honest. I think it's a little harder to come by. So I remember thinking this one is the faster option, and you can still get a lot of value out of it, even without both of them.
I'm pretty sure the second one's in the throne room when you're in the castle.
Yeah,
and
that sounds right.
And that one, I'm not entirely sure if it's there 100% of the time.
Okay, gotcha. I'm not sure. I know I picked it up there at one point, but yeah, I just, when you start doing it at multiple playthroughs, you start thinking about routing and how you can get through it as efficiently as you can. And I just remember like, yeah, I'll take the boost from this first golden egg. It's really not that far out of the way, but I'm going to skip the second one.
Yeah. And you can backtrack to certain areas you played before. It's like raining, it's spookier. There are wolves out this time that are full of parasites. But overall, they could really trim the fat in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, you get onto the church where you meet Ashley. Not too different. The puzzle to get to her is different. With the stained glass.
Yeah, God help you if you're colorblind.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
That puzzle is... Yeah, even for someone who's not, vision impaired in that way, it was tough. There were times I was like, wait, what am I doing here? I can't tell what's happening.
Yeah, it's way easier in the first one.
Absolutely.
by a country mile. And this is also where you get introduced to the big bad Sadler.
Mm-hmm.
And he is really creepy, but he turns out even creepier later on.
Yeah, exactly. You get bad vibes from him, though, right away.
Yeah. And you escape. You go back to the first area. Things are way darker. I remember in my first playthrough, my settings might not have been upright because I had a hard time seeing in this bit.
It definitely can be. I remember this game having some like flickering issues too, because I try to play it. I've got a nice enough monitor. I play with a 4K monitor, and so I played it in like the boosted mode, right? Or the not performance, the quality mode. And the rain actually had this like weird side effect here, where it would like have these pop-in effects. And so eventually, I turned it down to like performance instead, and the issues were better. But really weird, nonetheless.
Yeah, and you have a choice here. You can go on to the route you're supposed to, or you can go back to the cabin where you first encountered the big guy. And if you do that, you can go up in the attic and get some really good goodies, as well as fight a mini boss on your way back, which is unusual. One of the awards is each section has one mini boss. This one is just a slightly bigger than average dog that does a lot of damage and is tanky as all fuck.
But he's pretty annoying. He's actually kind of scary too. Just the dogs in this game, when it's nighttime as the game progresses and when it's raining and stuff, I got kind of creeped out by them for sure, more than the regular enemies.
Yeah, the dogs play a bigger part. They're only in like 2 sections of the original. Here, they're still sparse, but you see them quite a bit.
Yeah.
And oh fuck, did we miss the
Gigante?
Yeah, the Gigante fight. The cave troll, as everyone really knows it by its true Christian name.
I mean, it really looks like the cave troll. Let's be real. Yeah, it's basically the cave troll.
Yeah. And they they throw something at you. So, like in the original, you know about the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a dead dog around that area where it's supposed to be, and you're like, wow, they killed the dog. Well, they're like, nah, if you look around the cabin, you can find the dog again. You can release it from the trap, and it'll help you all over again. But they really did fake you out like, no dog this time.
Yeah, they saved it. And the reveal and the moment is still badass. It's still epic. Very helpful. Yeah, did you have the rifle? Do you normally buy the rifle right away, or do you wait for the automatic sniper a little later on?
I always wait for the second rifle.
Okay, yeah, because the rifle here makes this fight a lot easier, just because you're not going up and doing the animation for the melee slashes. When El Gigante goes down and the parasite comes out behind him, just shooting him with the rifle is like the highest DPS that you can do. So it definitely helps.
Yeah. So yeah, you fight the cave troll. You do everything we talked about to this point, and then you get to one of the most iconic scenes redone. And like we said before, everything's so much harder. The cabin scene is a little intense.
The cabin siege.
Listen, about us earlier.
Yeah, about that.
Hey, I see you found your missing senorita.
Senorita has a name and it's Ashley. You are?
Name's Luis. Encantado.
Great. We all have names. Now then. Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Very good questions, unfortunately.
Yeah, this part, they redid it. You got to pick up planks of wood and put them on the windows really fast. And they just keep coming at you this time. More so than the original. And the place feels more crowded. Luis is, if you still shoot him, he'll shoot at you back.
Yeah, that's funny.
But he also gives you free ammo, which is very needed in this section. Once when you get upstairs, it's when things kind of turn to hell, because they'll release the guys with the sledgehammer and the cow mask at you again. And in those tight quarters, you want to throw a grenade, but you're also like, I don't need to kill my partner either, which can fucking happen. You need to be careful with what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, you can't be super haphazard. You got to focus up here. And it's, everyone's got their different strats for which doors or which windows they block first or how they move around in this area. But it's never the same. And I think that's one of the great things about this particular section is you can play this game 4 times and you're going to have very different experiences during the siege. Sometimes it goes really smoothly. Other times one little thing goes wrong and it starts to spiral out of control really fast. So it's great. And they also introduce one of those bull-headed, not really mini-boss, but larger enemies in this section too, which is new in this version of the game, and I think a welcome addition.
Yeah. Since you had a speed run and did the platinum, was this one of the most stressful parts when you're like, don't screw this up?
Pretty much. Yeah, it was this section, and like I mentioned, Del Lago, the fish boss, these two things, once you got past them, you're like, okay, I think this is fine. I think the run's going to be okay.
Yeah. After you pass that, you move on to the chainsaw wielding grannies. Fucking classic staple. Everyone loves these enemies just because the idea of them so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. It's funny though, because in the original you have this branching path, right? And you can choose to avoid this fight if you want and face more El Gigante instead. And when I was going through the original, I would kind of always do that option with the El Gigante. So now coming to the remake, I was like, wow, I didn't really experience this fight very much before. So it felt kind of new.
I always, until I got good enough where I would take both paths for the treasures, right. I would always take the chainsaw wielding grannies, actually.
Yeah, really interesting. Okay. Huh.
I thought tough. I thought they were easier because Ashley's with you. And that's what makes the El Gigante fight kind of a bitch.
Right, because she's a liability in that section.
Yes, and whereas you can just hide her in a dumpster in the other route.
Yes, true. Yeah, this is fun though. I love the backflip that Leon does.
Oh
Right when his
yeah,
sisters show up.
he could have just stepped back, but no, he just like does a backflip instead. Fucking
Just
show off.
classic Leon, dude. Just being cool, cracking one-liners. I love
Yeah.
that they keep that in the remake as well. Like they don't make him more of a traditional character. I mean, in some ways, I guess they do, but they keep him goofy, which is great.
Yeah. I love. There was a point in time they leaned away from the silliness of Leon, and it really didn't gel. Like in Resident Evil 6,
Yeah,
and some of the side movies.
yeah. Vendetta. Oh God, Leon
Yeah.
and Vendetta is awful.
Yeah. Whereas, like, we love goofy Leon.
Mm-hmm.
We love the charismatic. He knows what he's doing, but he can be just kind of a bit of a dumb fuck every once in a while.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get past that section. This is where you get that chase scene with the big guy. I have his
Menendez.
name
Or
actually in the
Mendez.
notes. Yeah, for Menendez. And they took out one of the interesting parts of that area. The going down in the lift area. You got that old rail cart. It's all in the sky, and you're on rails, and you have enemies coming through your other side, and you need to shoot them. That's gone. They actually brought that in the DLC though, because
Right.
a lot of people really liked it. I thought it was okay. It was like this is going to be a bitch if you don't have the sniping rifle yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely can be in the original for sure. I like that they brought it back in separate ways though, just to kind of be like, hey, you thought this wasn't in it? Haha, little trick, it is still here. And it's not a super long section in the DLC either, so it's fun enough.
So we'll kind of skip ahead to the climax of the village, the burning building with Menendez, and he just turns into a giant human centipede. No, not that one.
Yeah, not like that.
Yeah.
This part was really difficult my first go round, even though obviously I'd fought him before in the original, but like he has a couple phases, and I found the first phase to be pretty manageable, and then I found his second phase where he's throwing those like flaming piles of lumber and stuff at you to be kind of inconsistent, and I would get hit sometimes and he would almost one-shot you. And you know, it's kind of tough, and he throws them pretty quickly, like back to back.
Yeah,
So if you get hit by one, you're going to get hit by another.
yeah, it seems like you need to be at one end of the barn, and once when he's about to start throwing them, you just run to the other. That's the best strat I found.
Yeah.
But even then, I got hit like once or twice by those things.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, again, until you get really better weapons, a very tanky motherfucker.
Yeah, he is. You got to use the red barrels to your benefit when he goes to throw them, you know?
Yeah, so many bullet sponges in this game. But you beat him. You move on to the castle. I actually forget. I don't know why I'm blanking on this part. Was there the part with the truck in this version? The truck coming right at. Okay, I didn't think so. Because I only remember it in the original.
Yeah, it's not in this version. You do still like progress up a road and like across a stone bridge to get to the castle, but no, they get rid of the truck.
That's what I thought. And I've beaten this game several times, but it is kind of hard to remember. Like, wait, was that in the original or was it in this one?
It's tough. Yeah, it's really tough, especially if you play them close together.
Yeah, like what I did, which I kind of regret doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've just been steeped in Resident Evil 4 now for weeks, probably.
Yeah. Then you get to the castle. One of the coolest openings, in my opinion. You have catapults of fireballs thrown at you. They really are like up the action, but the monks are really fucking creepy. I kind of love these designs, and they give you women monks this time around too.
Yeah, they mix it up. They don't, they're egalitarian. Everything's coming after you. This part is also like, again, tricky your first go round before you really understand what's going on and what you're supposed to be doing. And the thing to be careful with here is, again, Ashley, where if you put her in the wrong spot or you have her following you, she gets hit by a catapult, that's done. You're restarting.
Yeah. And I love the fact you use a cannon, and this time you aim with the cannon.
Pretty
It's
cool.
really fun when you see people coming up that narrow bridge, and you're just like, I'm just gonna one shoot you motherfuckers with
Yeah,
the
like
giant
you
cannonball.
guys are going down, dude. There's no way. Getting some free resources and the ammo from them. It's great.
Yeah. Uh, you move on to one of the more interesting mini bosses in the entire game. The not Granado. It starts with a G as well. Um, the Gyarados, Gyarados,
Gyarados. Can you imagine?
Gyarados. Yeah, totally wrong game.
But a bunch of Gyarados with legs walking around.
Yeah, creepy introduction. You fall through the floor of of basically a torture chamber. Um, Again, another part of the game that just oozes with atmosphere. And this thing is right behind you. You shine your flashlight in the dark, and he's just right fucking there, just menacingly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And they make it clear to you quickly that like he is operating based on sound, and it's such a nice touch that they add all these hanging chains all over this environment. So it's damn near impossible to move through without making some noise. But you know that your goal is to try to be sneaky and not freak out and run, because if you're running into stuff constantly, he's going to know where you are.
yeah, and they give you a choice. You can face him down, which I always did because I want the damn treasure, or you can try and sneak around him and slowly open up the gates with a crank.
Right. I always kill him as well.
Yeah, I think veterans of the game are like, nah, you're gonna die.
Yeah. They're not really that tanky if you can get a couple good shots on them, especially with the sniper or something, right? But
yeah,
But yeah, it's just more about managing your anxiety in the encounter. That's the real test, is just not freaking out when he's coming near you or when he looks like he's going to be looking at you and he actually doesn't even know you're there yet.
yeah. And thus you move on. No, she doesn't. Okay, I kept getting the thing in my head back and forth. When the hell she gets kidnapped again?
Yeah. It's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, yeah. You're not quite there. You get to the section of the three different rooms. Um, uh, One has like moving the moving knights in armor bit.
Yes, with the blue light.
Yeah,
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, they have a new mechanic, which I kind of like. They will stop when there is this blue flame near them. It doesn't completely freeze them unless the blue light keeps going, but it gives you a bit of an edge, which is nice. They took out the drop ceiling though, which I thought was a bit interesting. That's kind of a classic trap.
Right.
Then you got the bit with the dinner plates, which is just a puzzle.
It's one of the few attempts to do a puzzle in the game. So, I'll take it. It's not too hard. You're going to get through it. You can definitely deduce what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun enough.
Have you ever got the puzzle wrong? I feel like there might have been something that happens, but I never got it wrong.
I definitely did get it wrong, but I honestly don't remember what it is at this point. But yeah, like you're mentioning, when you do this multiple times, I mean, eventually you just know exactly where to go in this room, and you're in this room for like 15 to 20 seconds, in future playthroughs.
Yeah, and then you get to the last room, which is the most annoying room of all time, and unless if you cheese it, and I love this is one of the options where you can cheese an area and go by through super fast, but if you fuck it up, it's a bitch. You go across this platform. There's a not quite a mini boss, but like a guy above a grunt, and he will pull the lever, and the walkway will go down, and you need to make it clear across the walkway to grab it. What you can do is toss a grenade at him, and he'll just die before he can pull the damn lever.
Yeah, it's so satisfying to pull off when you do it eventually. It's great.
Yeah. But if he doesn't, he has this horrible ability where he'll like get all the people. Some of the people turn into their bug form. Their heads will just explode, and the Los Plagas will go into their second stage, and it's kind of annoying as fuck, especially if you know what's coming up next. You want to save up for your flash grenades. Uh,
Yep.
Flash grenades. What's when Las Plagas is in second form? It's an easy kill. I love that.
Yeah, I love that it still one-shots them. It's a really nice resource to have, and you're always tracking it throughout the game. How many flash grenades do I have? Right, and
Yeah.
especially as the game progresses, you're going to want them even more. So it's a really cool thing. These enemy types are annoying in general in games, but they're not too bad here, right? Like the Screamer equivalent from Left 4 Dead, where basically its job is, if it gets its scream off, it's going to agitate all the enemies in the room, and they become harder. So, yeah, I've even at points when I was doing replays been like, you know what? I'm going to fricking use a rocket launcher here. Like, I'm just going to make sure this guy is not going to lower the bridge. I'm not going to deal with this section, because I think you actually get a rocket launcher in this room.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like, yeah, you're spending a lot of money for it at the merchant, but you get repaid back for it like immediately.
Yeah, I always sell the damn rocket launcher actually because it takes too much space for a one shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a certain trophy and boss I use it on every time, but otherwise, I agree. It's kind of hefty to carry around.
Yeah. So you beat that, and this is where Ashley gets kidnapped for the first time.
Yes.
And then you kind of play as her. And this is one of the most stressful points of the game. Everyone, either they love or hate it the first time, but this time they up the ante because this area is bigger. They take out the annoying puzzle, thankfully, because nobody liked that 9-piece puzzle.
No.
But you are fighting the damn things in the armor again, but you have like nothing to protect yourself.
Right. You just have a lantern. That's it.
Yeah, and the lantern, as long as you shine it on them, they will freeze. But that's it, and you need to take the lantern off them sometime.
Right. Whenever you're turning to run or go anywhere, and then they start doing this really fun thing where they throw multiple at you at once. So you're managing as you're moving lines of sight with that lantern with multiple different knights. Basically, it's interesting.
Yeah, and there's an area at the end. They literally just become a clusterfuck.
That part is tough.
Yeah, and once when you get past that area, you get the main thing you need to move on to the next section. You gotta crawl under them, and there's you're just so unnerved. Like, please don't move, please don't.
Oh
move.
my gosh, yeah. And I think they time it really well when you're escaping that area, because once you move past, they're always going to start chasing you. And you always have this like down to the wire moment of getting in the elevator and the door closing right as they're about to get to you. So it's pretty cool.
So you get that, and you rescue Leon from his entrapment, and then you get kidnapped again. For real this time. You're actually gone.
For real kidnapped. Yep.
Yeah. Then we get to meet one of the more interesting things, the giant bugs.
Yeah, the giant bugs. I not a massive. They're called Novistadors, I think, something like that. I'm not a huge fan of these guys. In the original, it bugged me. They have this invisibility ability. They have this cloaking. It's executed better here in that you can still kind of see them in the camouflage. They're easier to spot.
Yeah.
But this area where you fight them, I dislike much more than the hive section a little later on. More in the mines, right? Like, I thought that was fine. This part, I try to get in and out of this area as quick as I can.
Well, if you're doing everything, you're moving around a lot.
Right.
And it's kind of a pain in the ass. And there's like in a section where you meet Ada that we're not going to really talk about because it's kind of corridors. Then you get to another section with an El Gigante who's throwing shit at you. This part's kind of fun, but kind of not, because there's a maze structure to it that can kind of go straight to hell.
Yeah.
The fact that you got this El Gigante throwing shit at you from a distance, I think is already interesting enough. You don't need this labyrinth maze on, like, can you get all the fucking treasure?
Right. That it does get a little weird. This is a new addition to the game in the remake. Another one of those things that's like really cool the first time and then not so great in subsequent runs. But there's ways to sort of cheese it, and you can, those hanging weights basically that open up the doors on the castle walls, right? You can either nade them from interesting angles, or you can snipe them from afar, or whatever, to get them to open quicker. So you can kind of get through most of the section without too much trouble.
I never tried it, but and I don't even know if it's possible. But have you tried just trying to kill the El Gigante before you do it with the cannon?
Actually, no, I haven't. I kind of assumed it was scripted to not work until you got on the cannon, but who knows?
Yeah, because that's a good question, because it makes you think, well, you got all these other moments where you can kind of break the sequence in a way. Like we talked about with the bell. I bet you can. I just never tried it.
Yeah, it'd be worth just like, all right, let me just get a rocket launcher and try this out real fast. If it doesn't work, then I'll just reload my save and save the rocket.
Yeah, if the rocket launcher can't do it, then I imagine it can't be done, period.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think that actually replaced the lava room in the original.
Gotcha. The lava room's actually still here in the remake.
The one where you shoot the things that breathe fire at you?
Oh, not that. I'm sorry. I meant the lava room with the two gigantes. With
no. That's a different lava room. No,
it replaced the less cool one from the old game. Yep.
Yeah. That's the new area. And then you move on to the maze, or maybe you're already at the maze. I'm pretty sure
the maze is around here somewhere.
Yeah, the maze is around here. This is where you see the dogs again. A very iconic area. One that they're like, you need to add this part in the remake because it stands out from the original. It's a different route in the maze too. You do a different thing. You're trying to find 3 levers, and at one point you get Ashley again. So yeah, you get her. Then there's also a point where she got kind of possessed by the things inside them have taken enough control where like she puts a knife to her own throat for Leon to back off. I really like that part.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like the Las Plagas infection is slowly starting to take over.
Yeah. And just like the look on her face and everything, they really go into the details on like, oh, this is different.
Right.
But at one point you have Ashley back and they try to kidnap her again, and you need to run around the maze to get to the point where she's at before she gets taken, and you got the monks and the dogs flying all around you. It's a weird moment of chaos.
Yeah, it can get out of hand pretty quick. If you miss your first couple shots, you're like, oh no. Now what? Now I got to improvise.
Yeah. And skipping a little bit, you move on to kind of the underground mine section. You see Luis again. This is a very interesting one. I bet you're, again, going through this speed running it style. You're like, I really hope I don't fuck this part up.
Yeah, it can be bad. Luckily, the checkpointing or like the auto saving in this version of the game is pretty forgiving for the most part. But I actually, really like this section. Especially the first time when I was going through it, I was like, man, I feel like I'm on a ride at Disneyland. Like they did an awesome job of translating sort of that experience of like a theme park mixed with some Indiana Jones stuff going on. It has a nice feel to it, and it's pretty fun.
I actually talked to Kevin about this on an episode of Old Game Save, where we're talking about Donkey Kong Country and how video games just love to recreate that Temple of Doom minecart level.
They do. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's a great idea for a video game level. But yeah, it's done well here. I think the really cool thing about this one is the speed is at a good level. You feel like you're moving quickly. You have to make sure you're turning in the right ways as you're going into the turns on the minecart so you don't fly off the rails. But it's enjoyable, but it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, and somewhere in there you fight 2 Gigantes at once. around this level, not during the minecart, of course.
Right.
And one of the strats is to cheese it. One of them, you pull a lever, and if they're in the right spot, they'll fall through the floor. Underneath the floor is lava.
Yep.
Instant kill, really cool thing, but you got to make sure you stay the fuck out of the way because it'll try and go for one last grab at you.
Yeah, they come back for you. But I definitely always did that strat of trying to put one into the lava for sure.
And Luis will grab some dynamite to take care of the armor the other fucker has, and that part's fun.
Mm-hmm. Get a little buddy cop action going on. I like that he's involved in this section.
Yeah.
And in general, that's one of the strengths of this section is that you do have these moments with Luis, and you're like, okay, he's a pretty interesting character, and he's a really proficient like combat companion to have as well.
Yes. And everyone who remembers Sheva is like, man, I just want a real partner instead of this AI crap.
Yeah, if only Luis was the partner,
Yeah.
Nothing against Sheva as a character, but her AI was pretty bad in 5.
Yeah. I kind of want to see her again in the RE universe, but, if you're going to make her a partner again, make sure the AI is better. Which it should be, because that game is like 15 years old by now.
Yeah, it's old enough to where they're remaking it. So we'll see how they handle it in RE5 remake eventually.
We don't know if they're remaking that one.
Oh, 5 is not confirmed. You're right. It's most likely going to happen, but
I think it will. A lot of people are like, put the weird racism in it. I'm like, you can alter it.
Yeah, it's also like, I don't know, dude. What do you want them to do? The game takes place in Africa. You're not gonna have black people in the game. I mean, it's just what it is, dude. Like, you have Hispanic coded people here in this game because it basically takes place in Spain. You don't hear people in uproar about that. So it's like, dude, it just is what it is. It's the location of the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And honestly, there's something really cool about the setting of 5 that I do love.
I do too. Yeah, I really like the section with the boat when you're on like the swamp area and you're going in between all the houses and stuff. And like, yeah, I don't know, it's got a fun area to it, like a fun vibe.
Yeah, but moving back to RE4 remake, so you get to the point where you're at the mining site, and if you haven't picked up on it, all the monks are gone. You've been refighting the villagers again, and that kind of ties into like the background story on like they found Las Plagas in ambers at this site. This is the origin of this like horrible plague and everything, and they're literally digging it up, and it's kind of a cool thing to see. And then you go to a giant nest of the damn giant crickets again.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're working your way up really slowly.
Yeah, but it ain't that long of an area. I think it only takes you about 15 minutes tops to blow through this area.
Right. And the enemies are kind of predictable, and they're nice, and they don't like completely overwhelm you here, because you could see them being like, oh, we're going to throw 10 of these things at you, but most of the time you're only getting attacked by like 2.
Yeah. I've always thought these things were kind of simple. The real fear of them is if you have a fear of bugs. If you have that, you are fucked.
Yeah, but they're thankfully not very tanky. It's like 2 to 3 pistol bullets takes them out.
Yeah, and they usually just hover there for a second too. They're like, okay, you got 5 seconds to shoot at me. That's more than enough time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the camouflaged ones you got to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. It's the surprise factor of them. That's basically the only issue you're going to run into.
Yeah. And then we get a really cool twist on like the classic story. This is where we get introduced to Krauser. And what a weird character, because when he popped up in the original, everyone was like, who are you? You clearly have history with Leon, but we don't know you.
Right. It's really weird. They still don't do an amazing job of fleshing it out here, but it's better. It's just one of those things where, unfortunately, to know anything about this character, it first of all wasn't available when the original game came out, but then if you wanted more context, you're like, cool, go play Dark Side Chronicles for the Wii. Go ahead.
I actually said that on the episode the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like such an obtuse reference, and I don't know. I actually have played and really enjoyed Umbrella Chronicles, the first one of that. So maybe at some point I would get to it. But either way, his design is cool. He's badass, right? And he definitely clearly has history with Leon, and you can tell right away that he's mean. He's an evil dude, right? Like immediately goes to town on our boy Luis. It's no good.
Yeah. In the original, you question, like, is he infected with Las Plagas, or is that a T virus that makes him
Right,
do the arm? This time you get an answer, but it also opens up a completely different door. How is he in control of himself?
right.
Because he is infected with Las Plagas, but he seems to be a free agent.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. There is an answer, not in the game specifically, but in the lore of just how there are two different strands of Plaga. There's the subordinate Plaga, and then there's the dominant Plaga. And the dominant ones can control others around them and have more free will over their actions. And so he just must have infected himself with a dominant Plaga, essentially.
Yeah.
It's weird, though. It's like they don't tell you that. They never spell it out anywhere in the game. So it does make you question it.
But we were talking about like quick time events, and they kind of replaced the good epic one with the knife fight here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the original one's better, but this one's still pretty fun.
I agree. I think the original is better. It's funny, it's stylized, it's over the top. Here it gets to just be, I don't know, it's kind of a slugfest, really. Just like look in front of you, aim down a little bit, and knife over and over and over again and try to catch him in loops.
Yeah, and this is the first time that you encounter him, and this is a big different twist. In the original, Sadler kills Luis. In this one, it's Krauser.
Mm-hmm.
And that it makes you go, are they going to keep him alive? We haven't seen Sadler or anything. And then out of nowhere, Krauser does it, and you're like, oh wow.
Yeah. They give you just enough hope to be like, maybe he'll make it. Maybe they're really going to change it. But yeah, sadly, no. He must go down.
Yeah. We got to speed through this. We still got another section and DLC to talk about. The more iconic bit of the clock tower is here. The Donkey Kong level, as I like to call it.
Yep.
Because
It's still as goofy as ever.
Yeah. I told this in the original story with the original game. I get all the way up the damn clock tower, and you could hear the monks chanting and shit. And it's my very first playthrough.
Oh, man.
So I thought there was these damn monks right around the corner, so I creep really slowly and like, oh, I see one. I line up my sniper and I shoot, and I make it around the corner, and it's the merchant.
That's great.
And if you don't know, that is the fight. That is right before the fight of Salazar. Oh, shit. I forgot talking about the Vertigo fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the Vertigo fight. It's one of my favorite fights in both games.
Yeah, it's stressful as hell. Absolutely. And that's one of the things I use the rocket launcher for really most of the time is, the trick where you freeze him and then you can blow him up and get some treasure. But it also just makes the section a lot easier because, again, you can wait for the elevator, but it takes a shit ton of time. And the areas that you can run around and dodge this guy, it's tight quarters. It really relies on quick button presses from you to do your B evades. So it's tough.
Yeah. It's really best to just try to kill this fucker.
Yeah. It's a lot of, I think you literally wait for like 9 minutes if you don't. So it's a crazy long.
I never waited in this version. I remember I did in the first time around because I didn't know what to do. But you know, being a veteran of this game at this point is just like, yeah, you're good. I'm going to figure out how to kill you. And this time it's a shower, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I think it was Kevin that said, or Blaster, big Xenomorph vibes off this dude.
Yes, absolutely. They were going for that.
Yeah.
A really cool design.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the clock tower. the only thing of note is the giant lever that pulls down the booby trap of the giant spike ball. It's some barrels in the original, and it kills the enemies for you. Other than that, this entire area, you can take it or leave it.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of it. It's also just like so ridiculous. You know, some of the architecture and stuff. You're like, why would this? What is the purpose of this place existing outside of this moment? What is the function of this area of the castle? And they do a better job in the remake of making the castle feel more grounded, making it feel more realistic. But then they throw in this, right? We don't have the giant robot Salazar anymore, but but we do have some goofiness still.
Yeah. And then you get on to probably the hardest fight in the entire game. Salazar, which has been a grosser prick than usual. His design is so disgusting, I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's like a plant mold creature. I don't even know how to describe it, really. It kind of looks like Venom, like a symbiote.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about his boss form, though. I'm just talking about his character in general.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, he is just a sniveling little thing that just looks really gross.
Yeah, he looks gross. He looks sick. You're just like, man, what is going on with this guy? Really funny character, though.
Yeah. And at one point, for an extra reward, you can throw an egg at his portrait, which I just love.
Yeah, put egg on his face. That's right.
I love that part. But this... I wouldn't even say remotely recognizable from his first iteration in the boss form.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just moves around up and down vertically. You don't exactly know where he's coming from. He has that gooey blast attack that'll just wreck your fucking shit.
And there's not really a safe spot on the map, like, too much. Like, I would try to go down to that lower level and get some supplies, and sometimes it's safe down there, but really the strat with this guy is the golden egg, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, if you hit him with the golden egg, it just tanks a lot of damage. It's a little goofy trick, but if you throw both of them, he's just dead.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was mentioning, where I would just do the one because it took off enough of the health that it made the fight pretty easy. But yeah, if you do two, he's done right away.
Yeah. Then we move on to the final section of the game, the island. All right, so onto the island. What are your thoughts on the island? Because this is like the big turning point of the game.
Yeah, it becomes almost a different beast here entirely. It leans a lot more into the action sections and action feel. I'm kind of mixed on the island. I think it's better here than the original. In the original, I think this is the part I talked about, the bloat being the most prevalent. Like, I could lose most of the island, or it just seems so wacky and kind of out of place compared to the village and then the castle. But at the same time, it's Resident Evil, so you got to have a lab of some sort. You got to have some sort of like an industrial environment, right? They got to throw it in there. And yeah, it's okay, I would say. There's some fun little side quests. I like the thermal scope and getting that to start taking out some of these new enemies we're encountering. But other than that, it's largely forgettable.
I agree. They trimmed a lot of the fat down. Like, they took out the section where Ashley's driving a damn cat, just wrecking the place up. Instead, this time she has a wrecking ball. Well, they had that in the original too. It's just different,
right?
You were talking about the thermal scope. They just throw you into this action thing. They replaced one well-known enemy that was a black guy with a minigun with a warthog mask and a strange machine gun just strapped to his arm. interesting design, but the idea is the same. He'll kill you really fucking quickly if you don't take him out. All the Ganados are like in weird guerrilla military gear. It's BDSM military style. It's one of the most bizarre things you'll ever freaking see in your life.
It's very odd. I mean, I guess the thinking is like this is the force that, Sadler is preparing to be able to then go and attack and take over other areas of the world or something. But in general, it's just kind of weird because who are these people? Are they all villagers? Are they other people brought into the fold? Like, you have sort of these natural narrative ways to explain the enemies you're encountering in the other two areas. But here you're like, are these just mercenaries that he then infected with Plagas, or like what's going on? So yeah, I don't know. The Regenerators are cool. The Iron Maidens are cool. But I will say one of their attacks is so goddamn annoying. And it's the one when they're like lying on their stomach and they're flopping around like a fish and they just jump up and hit you. I hate how unpredictable that attack is.
Yeah. The Regenerators are the creepiest thing in both games by a country mile.
Yeah, by far. I agree.
This is kind of the saving grace of the island at the same time. This brings back survival horror because what you need to do is you need the thermal scope, and that'll put you in like predator mode where you see heat signatures and these weird, creepy looking naked things. They don't exactly. They look like something out of a fucking H.P. Lovecraft novel.
Yeah, they're really weird. I don't even know. They're like naked mole rats with sharp teeth.
Yeah, but they're humanoid.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to find the Plagas inside their body and shoot them bit by bit, but they'll just keep coming at you. And you can't just spray and pray, otherwise it'll do nothing but waste your ammo and put you up for a line of attack.
Yeah, they're a real ammo sink if you don't know what you're doing. And it also is going to be a real big test of your aim just in general. Like, even if once you have the thermal scope and you know what you're looking for, you got to hit your shot still, or you're going to be in some real trouble real fast.
Yeah. It's a design that is brilliant because of how tense it is.
Right, exactly.
And then there's a part where you're facing off the Iron Maiden, which is these things with just giant spikes. And it'll grab you and it'll pull you into its porcupine spikes. And once when you kill it, you need to get the fuck out of the way because it'll explode.
And yeah, it adds another danger.
Oh, yeah. But there's one point in here where you take down one, and then like Ashley's doing something to the side, and she's being attacked by Ganados. So you need to juggle both of these parts. And I hate that part because of how tense it is.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be really fucking quick. And they give you a mini boss in one of these Ganados for like really good treasure, but it has like 12 of the leashes inside of him.
Yeah, that guy's a pain.
Yeah.
He's a real pain. I would usually kill him still, though, because the treasure was worth it, but yeah, it's just annoying. Yeah. I agree with the horror aspect, though, for sure. This is the part of the game, this is the enemy design in the game that's going to get you more than likely the most creeped out and going to give you the most classic survival horror feel.
Yeah, I would say out of the Ganados, this entire section is a blur with the exception of when you fight Krauser again and Mike.
Yeah, good old Mike, dude. Poor bastard.
Yeah. The section with Mike is so ridiculous because they're not even pretending anymore.
Yeah, they're like, this is an action movie now. It's a goofy action movie, so get on board because this is where the ending is going.
Yeah. But it's also one of the coolest areas of the game because you feel powerful in just the right way. You have a fucking helicopter behind you. The only thing is you need to get the fuck out of the way because he'll shoot you down too by accident.
Right. It's still like you got to be on your toes still. You can't just sit back and let him do everything, but
Yeah.
he does clean up most of the stuff.
Yeah, and this is also one of the sections that's in mercenaries mode too, just without the helicopter.
Gotcha. When we get to that, I actually haven't really played mercenaries much at all, so
Oh,
that's interesting.
really?
Yeah.
I think you would actually love it if you gave it the proper chance.
I probably would. It goes across all Resident Evil games. I don't really, unless like I have to for something, I don't engage a ton with the side content in Mercenaries. Like with RE5, I didn't mess with it. RE6, I didn't mess with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like shortly after, I can't remember if it was after. No, it was before that. You fight. Damn it, what's his Krauser?
Yes, Krauser.
And I noticed something with my last playthrough of him. He's more thematic than you think. Because everyone remembers that weird shield arm he has, but everyone kind of also forgets about his other arm, and you're like, oh, that's a spear. This fucker's a Spartan.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, it just dawned on me with my last playthrough. I'm like, oh, that was on purpose.
Yeah, that does make sense though. I mean, I like how his boss fight starts with him, using different tactics that he would have used in the military. There's smoke grenades. He's setting up those turrets and the traps and all that kind of stuff. So you get a classic fight against, a really well-trained military individual before you get into the fight of him mutating and, coming after you with his mutant arm and Plagas. So you get both sides. It's a good time.
He also goes all out on you too. He wears like war paint and has a tactical vest, and you just he's an awesome character that doesn't belong in this game whatsoever, but everyone just kind of loves him.
Yeah, he's earned his spot over the years, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really. Like you could lose Krauser and you'd be fine.
Yeah. It just that they went, this is ridiculous, so we have to lean into the ridiculousness in order for this to work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And his fight really isn't too bad. I would say getting to him to the part where he does morph his arms is the harder part. Once when you get there, he's kind of a bitch, but you just aim for the legs and you'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And ammo sink if you don't know what you're doing, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so you move on to that. You get to the final part where you finally have Ashley again, and the infection has almost taken hold. You are hallucinating at this point. You're just trying to make it to the dam, to Luis's lab to remove everything. Kevin actually brought up a very interesting point about once when you're in getting the parasite removed. He thinks this was originally a minigame.
Oh.
And I can see it. I can see it in both versions, actually.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I wonder if there is any sort of like video or document that ever talked about that being the case. Huh. It would be cool. I would do it.
Yeah.
Maybe just even like a side, like not even a mini game within the main game, but even if you just had it as like a little side thing, sort of like the shooting gallery, it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. And we didn't even talk about the shooting gallery yet, but we will in a minute. Let's kind of get on to the finishing of the game. Ada's back. She helps you escape Sadler. Sadler removes his hood, and he literally has a nest growing in the back of his head. It's gnarly as
It's
hell.
disgusting. Yeah.
Once we get the parasite removed, you're on to the final showdown after a mini John of just more ridiculous military guys.
Yeah, just expect a lot of rooms full of people shooting at you in military gear.
Yeah.
And you're just doing that for about 10 to 12 rooms until you eventually get to the boss.
Yeah. Like we said, the I wouldn't even say it's a great theme. The island itself is the weakest part, but
I think so.
everything. But then you get down to Sadler, the final boss, and he looks the same for the most part, but he acts very differently.
Yes, he does. And he also, I don't remember enough about the original right now because it's been a few years since I played it to where I don't recall there being ads in that mode or like in that game where like he's spawning these Novistadors in constantly to come after you. Was that
He
in the
doesn't.
original? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. And that's what makes this fight hectic and annoying is
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, he also has the giant spray goo attack that Salazar did.
Mm-hmm.
He'll charge at you. You're supposed to. There are giant eyeballs at like the joints of his weird. I don't even know how to describe it. Part spider, part I
Part
don't even
plants,
know.
like kind of thing. Yeah, like there's sort of a plant theme going on a little bit, but it's not. I don't know. Yeah, on his joints, basically on his legs, he has these eyeballs, these weak points. The classic staple of Resident Evil bosses, the eyeball weak point.
Yeah. But you gotta shoot those, and they seem real easy at first, but he does move around to a point where they get harder and harder. You need to destroy more eyeballs in order to open his big eyeball in his mouth weak point.
Which is just gross in general to think about having an eyeball in your mouth.
Yeah. And he'll jump away to a point, spawn his little fucking minions. I couldn't find it in here, but in the original, you can swing a giant crate of just steel beams at him, and I don't think I ever found that. I think it's missing entirely.
Yeah, I don't think it's in this version. I looked for it as well, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. He is way just harder. Takes much more hits, many more ways to attack you, and just way more lethal damage. And then he gets into a final phase, which is actually the easiest part because you get the fucking bazooka at this point. And just you need to dodge. Yeah, you just need to dodge and shoot this giant weak point till Ada throws the RPG at you, and you're done.
Yep. I love that she still tosses that to you, though. Keeping that from the original is great.
Yeah. You have a final scene with Ada before she leaves in her helicopter. She takes a sample, which explains the events of 5. You have to then get the fuck out, classic Metroid style and RE style. The place is going to blow up. And what a weird ending, because you're just on a jet ski, just booking it out of this tunnel.
Yeah, another very Indiana Jones-esque escape sequence ensues here. I think it's fun enough, right? Like it's a good time. It does have an epic feel to it to some extent, and the whole area is collapsing around you. Yeah, in general, I think it's cool. Like it holds up well enough too when you replay it multiple times, but it does seem weirdly out of place in this game. But you know, again, the ending really ramps up the ridiculousness and leans into those action movie tropes. So in that sense, it's fitting. But if you compare like a jet ski escape sequence to crawling around in a castle in a dungeon in the dark, it just doesn't seem like it would go together, but it does.
Yeah. There's also, you get a reward if you come out of that completely unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's kind of a bitch to do unless you're doing it on the easiest difficulty.
Yeah, it's just like the pattern's the same every time, so you just kind of memorize the route and where to go.
Yeah,
so
it's
not too bad.
Unless if you're doing the timing run, you're probably pulling up a YouTube video, so you just remind yourself, like, oh, that part's coming up. Okay, so
yeah,
moving to the left.
Yeah, these things are coming. Yeah, exactly. It's not so long of a sequence that you can't memorize it either. It just takes a couple tries.
Yeah, and at least they give you a typewriter right beforehand.
Yep.
Too.
So that was the thing. It's because I didn't look at a guide when I was going for that a trophy and achievement. Like I just basically tried it, and then if I got hit, I would just reset.
Yeah.
And go back to the save point.
Yeah. So mission accomplished. I don't know where the fuck they go after that because you're out in the middle of the ocean.
I guess Hunnigan calls someone to pick them up. I don't know. They're out there for a while though.
Yeah. And then we'll move on to the DLC real quick. Uh, Assignment Ada or Separate Ways. I really liked it, but the timing of everything is confusing as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it'd be interesting almost if they presented a way to merge them together to say, hey, you're going to play the game, and at different points, you're going to cut to Ada and play her sections, and then you'll cut back to Leon. And you can see it chronologically like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd been way better because she does help you, but thematically, you're like, okay, that makes no sense.
Mm.
And what I mean is, like, it does start off with a really cool cutscene of Luis dancing to himself in a corpse in a cell.
Yeah, it is cool. He's got some moves. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it just makes you go, man, I wish he would have lived.
I know. It's nice to see him, though, and nice to get a little more time with him. Because in the main game, it's like it's hinted at, obviously, that he is working with, to some extent, Ada, and they have a relationship or an agreement, and you get a little bit of that expanded in the DLC.
Yeah. But after that, one cool thing they do is immediately like, oh, the other minion of Salazar, yeah, you'll be fighting him.
Right.
And he does different stuff. He infects you and you get hallucinations from him. And he isn't really all that hard, but he is kind of the stalkerish type. He'll randomly show up, and instead of run away from him, it's like, oh, it's game time.
Yep. He forces you into some conflict. And actually, the Separate Ways on Professional is probably the hardest thing you can do in RE4 Remake. Just like fighting him in some of these first encounters can be really tough.
Oh,
but
really?
it's also a fun, like, especially the one when you get out into the village again, where he first shows up as like another fight. That one's really tough on Professional.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah, you just don't have a lot of ammo, and you don't have access to the same infinite ammo and upgrades that you have in the base game. So it's just kind of like, oh shit, you just got to do it.
So at one point, you literally see where Leon is fighting people, and she's like, "Well, I'll help him out. I'll go ring the church bell." But for you to see Leon and get to the church bell is way too long.
Yeah, it takes. Well, I guess the explanation would be like she has her zip line thing, right? And she can move really fast. But it's obviously you gotta suspend some disbelief here a little bit because they make it really convenient that it works out.
And then I'm trying to remember what happens next, but it was the exact opposite problem where, like, okay, the events between here and here are way too short. Oh yeah, Ada saves Leon from Melendez in his house.
Yeah, she shoots him through the window.
Yeah, that's supposed to take at least an hour in between, and she does in like 15 minutes from her ringing the church bell to like seeing Leon again.
Yeah, I see what you mean, where it's like the playtime doesn't match up across the playthroughs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this was like, it was such a big distraction that I was like, I really wish you guys would have worked on this where it would have made sense.
Yeah, it just would have had to be so much of. They would basically have had to make a 15-hour campaign, right, for it to line up exactly.
Yeah.
But I think too, I had the benefit of playing and getting the platinum on the release of the game within like the first couple weeks, and then it was a decent chunk of time before I played Separate Ways. So when I got to it, it was kind of all fresh again, and I was just playing this sort of condensed version of the game, and I didn't have the as easy direct comparison to the main playthrough. So if you play them back to back, it might be a little more stark. It might stand out more.
Yeah, and that's what I did with this playthrough. I also cheesed it a little because, like, oh, I already finished this. Yeah, let's New Game Plus this shit.
Yeah, why not? Take what you can get.
Yeah. Another standout on Separate Ways. There's a enemy or a boss missing called It. And they bring It in Separate Ways. Do you remember It from the original?
I don't think I do. It's not ringing any bells, at least.
You fight him. There's two separate areas. You fight him in this weird caged area that falls into an abyss bit by bit.
Oh, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, and that cage part isn't in here, and I'm glad because I think that's the weaker part of the fight. But then when you see him, he is this half man, half scorpion with a weird, gnarly tail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh.
A lot of people were really glad to have that fight back. He's also, of course, in this remake fashion, way harder than it in his first iteration. He'll like spew landmines and shit at you, and I'm pretty sure can one shot you in certain areas if you're not fucking paying attention. I'm trying to remember Let me look at my notes real quick.
Yeah, you end up working through the laboratory again as well, and you have like another enemy boss. It's not really a boss, but the enemy that chases you through that section is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was a new addition, and that's like right after you do that gondola section you were mentioning, that's missing from the main game.
Yeah. Also, the merchant has he's a bit more cheeky. He's like, "Don't tell my other customer I'm giving you this shit."
Yeah, he's working both of you at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, I'm gonna give you a deal, but don't tell Leon.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We also get one of the weirdest parts of this. Someone shows up out of nowhere.
Having a bad day?
Wesker, to what do I owe this pleasure?
Stop wasting my time, Ada. Find Lewis. Fetch me the amber.
I should probably thank you for this room. Are you staying? To back me up?
I'm not here to babysit you. See that you remain an asset, and not a liability. I have absolutely no use for your incompetence.
Easy with the threats, Wesker.
Just get it done. I'll be in touch.
So, yeah, Wesker shows up out of fucking nowhere. We saw him in literally the ending credits of the main mission, but you feel like he's in a base million miles away.
Yeah, he gives that impression, right? But turns out he was right off the mainland, ready to go, ready to jump in at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
He saves you here, right, and gives you the antidote from when you were poisoned at the very beginning of the DLC. So in some sense, like, I kind of liked that, where his involvement, in his relationship with Ada is different than before. But ultimately, little teaser for RE5 there. And I love the saxophone in that scene and the little like jazz noir effects it has when he shows up.
Yeah. He's also really fun in Mercenaries.
Okay. You can play him in Mercenaries?
Yeah, you can unlock him in Mercenaries.
That's great. Does he have his laser eyes like in RE0?
No.
Oh, damn it.
But, he shows up, and my question is, like, why are you here then? Why is Ada even here? Because, like, Wesker is more than capable of just doing this shit himself.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't want to be seen and spotted and involved directly. Kind of just wanted to control from afar, but then didn't trust her to get the job done on her own. And so was secretly actually much closer than you would expect. Like, because even Ada seems surprised by him being there, right? Like, Wesker, what do I owe the pleasure? Like, she wasn't expecting to run into him either. So, kind of weird. And at the end, like, you're on a helicopter, right, to take the sample to him before you decide not to. So, conceivably, he's somewhere far away at that point.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
And, I just think it's a giant fucking mess. Another weird thing about, like, separate ways, like, we said Ada gets infected. Ada looks the fuck out by, like, just spewing up the parasite. And just stepping on it. Like,
yeah. She just says, nope. Not today. I've got the ability to throw up at will. So no big deal.
Yeah. Finding the not antidote, but suppressant medicine that Louise quickly makes up. I wasn't a big. I was like, this is bloat in DLC. I'm following footprints on a floor. Uh, it gave you that high tech spy feel, but I was just like, yeah, I don't really care about this.
Yeah, it was a little extra. Again, it ties in a little bit to sort of that spy stuff that's present in RE2 Remake with her seeing the different, her glasses and being able to turn that mode on. But it's ultimately not super cool. It just takes up time.
Yeah. Do you have any major thoughts on Separate Ways before we finally move on?
No, I think in general, it's we've had some critiques of it, especially timeline stuff that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but overall, it's not a bad DLC. You just have to turn your brain off a little bit and try to make some of these connections and just accept it for what it's showing you. And I actually think that for the price point, it's a fun extra adventure that you can have with RE4.
3, 2, 1, begin!
High scores? Are you serious?
You missed! That's not like you!
That was awesome. Are you serious?
Outstanding!
So, one fun mini game of this is the shooting range. And
yes, I loved it.
I loved it to a point, and then it got too hard, and it's probably one of the big things that made me go, I don't think I'll platinum this game.
Yeah, it can be pretty freaking annoying later on, but it's a really cool concept, and I love the sound effects in it and the whole gambling system that you get to get these like charms for your briefcase and stuff, right? It's cool.
Yeah, the charms are a love-hate relationship. You don't have to get every single one for the platinum, right?
God, no. That would suck.
Yeah, because one bad thing about this is you can get duplicates no matter how hard you try.
Yeah, it would be nice if it would remove the ones you have from the pool once you have them.
Exactly. Then I wouldn't mind it so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But other than the trinkets, like mastering the shun range can be a bitch. I only got halfway through to the point where I just got frustrated and just went, nah. I think I won't platinum this game.
I'm noping out here. Yeah, they really do ramp up in difficulty. But it's really satisfying when you can get all the skulls, right? And then you trigger the bonus time and all the extra points and stuff. And it is fun. Each one is sort of like a mini puzzle to figure out the best way through.
Yeah. It is that. It's also about reflexes and keeping your cool. It seems more stressful than any other part of the game, though, because your goal is to get all the shooting skulls in order to get the perfect score.
Right.
And one of the fun touches is you can have Ashley or Luis join you, and they just watch from afar and they critique you.
Yep. They give you some good commentary. They're chirping at you.
Yeah. But other than that, it's really fun, but I don't think it's worth it for a completion bonus.
Right. Yeah, it's probably something that most people are going to interact with once or twice in the main game and then maybe just skip it later on. Or maybe you do it once in the beginning, you're like, that was kind of fun. You find it again later, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do a couple more. But I don't think everyone is going in and completing all of it, if I had to wager.
All right. So let's bring it home with Mercenaries mode. Mercenaries mode is a really great way, if you're people like me who kind of crave to play the game again, but you don't want to go through an entire playthrough again. It's a great way to like, man, I just got that out of my system.
Yeah.
What it does is it gives you more than just Leon and Ada to play with, but they have their own set weapons. You can't change them. You can't add anything. And they put you in area, and you just try to take out as many enemies as you possibly can in a time limit. And everyone has a specialty to them. Like usually it's just they do more damage, but a great one is Krauser. Krauser is one of the unlockables, and he will use his arm to just take out enemies, and I love him so much. Fan favorite Hunk makes an appearance out of nowhere.
Nice.
He will literally grab the head of Granados and just 90 degrees twist it.
I
For
love
an
that.
instant kill.
What a badass.
Yeah. Wesker's in it. Luis is in it. Two different versions of Ada and Leon are in it. Like Leon's wearing his gangster outfit.
Oh, badass. The classic one from the original.
Yeah, the pinstripe suit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And Ada's wearing her dress. You can't play as Ashley, but I think that would have been super funny. And it has like 4 different levels, if I believe. The village, the castle, that area with Mike, and one that isn't in the game. It's kind of the docks. And
okay.
yeah, and it's just kind of cool to check out. Don't be intimidated when they say you need to get an S rank on everyone. This mode is stupid easy to get an S rank on.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I always assumed it would be difficult because, like I said, didn't really interact with it too much. But, man.
I would say you might play it 2 or 3 times, but after that, you'll read you'll fucking see the matrix on what to do. And just... And you don't even need to survive the entire time. You just need to get a certain point amount.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad then.
Yeah, it's really not bad at all. I'm kind of surprised it's not part of the completion bonus. Trophies.
I'm happy that it's not, but it is surprising. The way that most people interact with it is if you go in for trophies, you can get... If you get A rank, I think, on a couple of the stages, you get an extra one of those unlock tickets to use on one of your guns at the merchant. So it's a free way to get like 2, basically, because you get 1 from that other way. So you can go in with 2 fully upgraded guns.
And that's another, those rewards are great to play this mode as well, because it gives you some incentive in the actual main game.
Right. But, that is cool how it ties in.
Yeah, they'll toss the like I want to say Gyarados again. That ain't right.
Gyarados.
Yeah, Gyarados. The chainsaw wielding dudes. In the last stage, they give you the chainsaw wielding dudes. He's bigger and he just keeps swiping at you nonstop. It's those things in Berserker mode. And it's bizarre and it's really difficult, but really fun to take down.
Oh, shoot. That's cool. I like how they do that then, switching up the enemy types and stuff. That's fun.
All right. Well, I think that's kind of going to wrap it up for this.
You have come, my child. What do you want?
I simply wish to share this gift with as many as possible. A humble wish, don't you think? You see, we are all connected through the holy body. And now your flesh and bones, your very thoughts, are already one with us.
Bullshit.
Why do you reject serenity when you need only accept the sacred gift? Like she did.
I'll give you a holy body.
That wraps up this episode. Collin.
Yes, sir.
What do you have any final thoughts on the game?
I think it succeeds at what it was trying to do. It's a great remake and a great video game overall. I think we had some fair critiques on the length of the game and a little bit of the bloat in some of the sections, but overall I highly recommend it, and I do think it is actually a fine place to jump in for new fans to survival horror and to Resident Evil in general.
I completely agree. It's kind of a shame this came out during like one of the best years in video games. So it is one of the best video games ever, or at least the original. And
Yeah.
then to remake it and to be like, yeah, your competition is Boulder Gate 3,
Yeah, good
Zelda.
luck. Yeah, you're not getting it this year. Too bad.
Yeah. Which is weird because I think this could have won almost any other year, or at least been nominated.
Exactly. Yeah, it just unfortunately got missed in the conversation just due to the amount of games. It's going to happen this year too, I'm sure, to a couple games.
Oh yeah, and I'd like to end this episode with just a simple question. What else have you been playing? I know of another horror game you've been playing.
Yes, I've been playing Silent Hill F, and it's fantastic. It's weird, disturbing, sinister, and lovely in all the right ways. It's got a really interesting combat system that I think you have to spend some time with. You're probably going to not like it at first, but just stick with it. The game starts to click after a couple of hours. And I'm on my New Game Plus playthrough for that. So I've been enjoying that. And then I've been playing Battlefield 6 with some people for some multiplayer action. And it's been pretty damn fun, I will say.
That's awesome. I saw a buddy of mine. I went over to his place, and he was playing Silent Hill F literally at the beginning of it.
Awesome.
And the friend that gave it to him was like, yeah, I already beat this 5 times. And it was like the first weekend it was out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, it took me 2 weeks to beat it the first time. Because I only play like an hour or two most evenings, and it's such a creepy game that I could not marathon it. Like, I couldn't just sit there and play for 5 hours because it was too... I don't know. I started to feel uncomfortable after a while. So, yeah, I would just do like an hour to 2 hours at a time. But now that New Game Plus is here, I'm a little bit stronger. I know where I'm going a little more. I'm moving at a quicker pace.
Awesome. He said he had to beat it 5 times to do everything.
That's true. You do have to do 5 playthroughs for the platinum, or 5 different endings, let's say. You can kind of cheese it and do it in like 3 playthroughs if you make some saves at the right times, but it's a good chunk of time to get through.
Yeah. As for myself, I decided to play all the Game of the Year nominations at once. I'm doing Expedition 33, Hades 2, Silk Song, and Ghost of Yotei.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You have got your hands full.
Oh my god, you have no idea. And it wasn't done by choice. It was just by necessity on when I could actually play these games.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, right? I just personally cannot handle more than 1 to 2 games at a time because it's like too much. I have such a mindset of I need to finish the one thing before I start the next thing. So I tend to go with like 1 to 2 things.
Yeah, I will say Ghost of Yotei is so fucking pretty. It's
very nice.
It's more pretty than Tsushima. I love it. There was a really cool lo-fi mode where they just put lo-fi music in the background.
That's going to be right up my alley for sure.
It's a hidden. I can't wait. It's a hidden feature you got to go into the settings for, but look for it. I have to tell everyone like use lo-fi mode, and if you don't like it, just take it off. But it's like playing Samurai Champloo at this point.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I know my birthday is next week, and I know my aunt got me Ghost of Yotei because she asked like, "What game do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, sweet, this." So I have that coming, and then I know my parents got me Death Stranding 2. So I've got 2 big games to play in the coming months that I'm really looking forward to.
Oh yeah, you'll be doing a lot of walking.
I'm going to be walking all over the place, but it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Well, this has been it for the last update. Collin, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on pretty much, PlayStation, Xbox, and Discord. My username is CKPresent. We've got a Discord for the Trophy Talk community, so if you Google Trophy Talk, you'll find our SoundCloud, and you can find the Discord from there. But mostly you'll find me doing Trophy Talk podcasts once a month over there on our network, and then also once a month I do Surviving the Horror, and this month we're going to be talking about Silent Hill F. So yeah, hope to see you there.
Yeah, I'll probably listen to that this Sunday? Or no, Kevin's up this Sunday, I think.
Kevin's this Sunday, yep.
Yeah, and he already told me what he's doing. I can't wait for that. But as for myself, I am Jordan Vickers. You can also find me on Discord at the Sage Temple or just Sage Temple, all lowercase, one word. Also in the Trophy Talk Discord, just send me a message if you feel like just wanting to be on the show one day. I would probably love to have you. And also listen to Old Game Save, where we just talk about memories. There will be a cool Christmas special on that coming, and I got something really cool planned for September of next year, and that's all what I'll kind of say on that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I'll be looking for people who I'll tell people behind the scenes what I'll be doing, but I'm going to keep it a surprise. So
there you go.
Anyways, I hope you all have an awesome night tonight and fun gaming.